It's us again, answering questions.
I'm going to read, today we're going to talk about Laura's question, which is as follows. I am only 23, but I've known that I was queer and a submissive since pre-adolescent years, and it feels like I will never be comfortable fully expressing myself or finding my voice except with my partners, because I still get ashamed or embarrassed about all of it sometimes, especially when I think about my family or straight or vanilla friends finding out. How did you overcome these feelings to be more open, if you ever had them? So Kristen and I have pretty different backstories about where we came from that. I've been kind of shameless and very open about sex and kink for a long time, with partners and with friends. Not so much with my family, but I think that generally you don't really need to be with your family. And when I came out as queer, I was already out as kinky and was already pursuing kink, and I just assumed that the queer world would just continue to teach me those things, and I would just be the one who constantly talked about sex, and people seemed to like that. So how did you come to it?
That was not true for me. I came from a very different background, and I for a long time, I kind of realized, like, oh, God, it sucks to, like, always be the only lesbian in the room. And this is even before I started talking about kinky stuff. But I found that I was always sort of the person among my friends, like, talking about stuff that nobody else wanted to talk about. And I think there's a lot of amazing vulnerability in that, and being open makes other people more open. But you don't always want to be, like, you know, you don't want to always have to be the friend who you sit down for dinner and 2 hours later, once they've had 3 drinks, they can finally start talking to you about their sex life because they feel like they can open up to you and not anyone else. Like, I don't want to be in that position anymore. So, I think both of us have found community that is really, really important, and helps you feel like, you know, even if you aren't going to talk about the scene you had last night at work or with your parents or something, you will have people in your life who you can talk to about it.
It's really important. Find people who have these interests that are the same as you or similar to you. They don't have to be exactly the same. They don't have to be queer. They don't have to be, you know, really into the same kinks that you are, as long as they're open and capable of doing some reflecting. It does, I think, however, really help to find some people who have really similar orientations than you do. If you're finding other femme submissives, your identity gets reflected back to you in a very different way than if you're only having these conversations with your top or with whoever, whatever gender of your top that you're talking to. They're not going to be reflecting things and giving you that multifaceted sense of yourself in the same way that someone who has your same kind of identities would be doing.
And you want to have that in your life. You want your, like, BFF to be able to say, maybe not your BFF, because maybe you've known them since you were 3. Maybe that's part of the problem here. But you want your close friends to be like, oh, wait, you had an orgy last weekend? Like, tell me about it. I want to hear all the details. That happens in my life. Instead of being like, oh, whoa, okay, let's talk about something else now. You know, you want that in your life. And I feel like, for me, since I've had that, and the more I've developed those relationships, the easier it is for me to be able to put it away when I'm with other people, and instead of constantly feeling like I have to, you know,
tone it down or
deny that part of myself or something.
Right. It's a balance between the integrity of having your whole self and not feeling like you're hiding and being open and having some privacy, because sometimes the issues of sexuality and kink especially are just not relevant to your life. But if you don't have anywhere where they are totally relevant to your life, then this other area where you're open and integrated and feel really whole is going to be tiny, and it's going to make you feel like you're hiding all the time. So,
and it's also, I will say, it's really important that your partners not be the only people you talk to about that. It puts a lot of pressure on a relationship if the only person who you can work out issues with kink or power or whatever, or queer stuff with, is your partner or partners. Like, either way, even if there's more than one of them, like,
you can end up codependent. You can end up processing to death and then not fucking.
So seek out those people, and whether you do that on the internet, whether you do that at the Femme conference in August, whether you do that whether you do that, you know, in another state, like, however you need to do it with friends across the country, like, whatever you need to do, find some other people to talk to.
There are lots of resources online. Check out FetLife. Look up those organizations and your local events and start going. Go to queer kinky events. Go to munches. Go to workshops where you learn how to and just connect with other people. Yeah, that's really the biggest answer. Find community. Make community.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.